Hello, my beautiful people out there. How is everyone doing? How was your week? How was your day going? I hope everyone has enjoyed their Sunday and just took some time for yourself today, because in life we get so busy that it's hard to pause and just take a moment for yourself. So I hope that if you haven't taken a moment for yourself, I hope that you spending time with me on this nice Sunday evening is you taking some time for yourself. So today, y'all, I want to talk about a narcissist and their narcissistic family, because a narcissistic person is not born narcissistic. Like we all have a little bit of narcissism in us, right? Because we all can tend to be selfish with ourselves. But if you are doing that in a healthy way, taking time for yourself for self-care, just to get some rest and relaxation in, that is healthy. We all need to look out for us because we're number one. We matter. But when you have narcissistic personality disorder, that's when you become so self-absorbed within yourself. You lack self-confidence, you have very low self-esteem, and you are now being manipulative and abusive to other people because you have your own trauma and your own issues, and you project that onto other people in an abusive, manipulating, controlling manner. Sometimes a narcissistic person learned this behavior from a parent, whoever raised them. And so in dealing with my children's dad and his family, at first they would always say, "Oh, you're family, we love you, you're like our sister," and all this other kind of stuff. But I slowly came to see that I was always treated differently. Like every summer we'd go on these summer vacations to Venice Beach, and whenever I would try to chime in, because I'm from California, and so whenever I would try to chime in and be like, "Oh, we should go do this, the kids would love to do this," or "Everybody would like this, what do you guys think?" My kid's dad would always get so mad at me, and everybody would look at me like, "What are you talking for right now?" You know what I'm saying? And my kid's dad would always shut me down. He'd be like, "And don't nobody want to do that." And I would be like, "You didn't even ask. Like, just see. Isn't that what you guys are talking about right now? Like, what's the plan for the day? So why not see?" I don't nobody want to do that. That's stupid. That's this. So over time, I came to just not have any input. Like I don't have anything to say because I'm not being treated like family, And so in a narcissistic family, let's break down that structure, right? Because there is a structure to a narcissistic person and their family. And when I was reading up about this, I was just like, whoa, I've dealt with that. So I did write some little notes because it's just like so much information that there was no way I was going to remember all of this. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing, reading my little notes. So the narcissistic family structure, and yes, this is my note, one of my many. So in the narcissistic family structure, one, image is everything. And you can see this within the narcissistic individual themselves. Image is everything. They will do anything to maintain that image. And sometimes it can be at the risk of others. And a lack of communication. No clear boundaries. And now, y'all, when I say yes, yes, because any family gathering or even outside of that, there was a lack of communication, like between him and his entire family. A lack of communication. Never any clear boundaries. And you'd be damned to put some in place. But we'll get to that. A surrogate spouse, which is for the emotional support. Control issues. We all know a narcissistic person is very controlling. Also within their family. Very controlling. Besides the control issues, they also create issues within their family structure of the feeling of not being good enough. They also create unhealthy competition, secret keeping. The adults within the family are very emotional, reactive. And now I have seen and experienced this within his family dynamic with his mother. She does not care how she treats anyone. Like anyone. And they always would, chop it up to, oh, she's old. Or, whatever health issues at the time. And for me, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Because no matter how old you are, that doesn't mean you can be mean or be disrespectful to someone just because you're old. No, that's not okay. And that's not why she's behaving that way. Not at all. Sometimes even blackmail is used as a form of controlling you. And this can be them blackmailing your feelings. And now I have experienced this myself. There was one moment during our breakup, and he would always use my feelings as a form of blackmail because, when you're in a relationship with someone, you share your feelings with them, right? But you never expect that person to use those feelings that you shared with them as a form of manipulation, as a form to blackmail you, throwing it back up in your face, or to making you feel like you're crazy, you're undeserving, or that you're just not good enough. And so I said to him, your sister, she doesn't treat me like a sister. That's not how both of your sisters even treat each other. Like, I don't feel like she's my sister. Boy, when I say, woo, it was raining, y'all. Hell rained upon, or he thought hell was going to rain upon me when he told his sister once, we were breaking up, because it's not just a simple breakup with the narcissist. Like, it's a lot of bondage and trauma that you have to break and heal yourself from. And so I remember he called his sister. He told her how I felt. She was so mad. She pulled up. Hi. She was like, I can't believe you said you feel like I'm not your sister. You feel like I'm not family? And I was like, yeah, that is how I feel. Because you don't treat me like a sister and you don't treat me like family. I don't feel that you treat me like a sister. You treat me like family. Those are my feelings. I'm entitled to that. Y'all, she lost her mind. And I thought it was so funny. I couldn't help but laugh at her. And I'm just like, how are you mad about how I feel? Like, you don't care why I feel that way? You don't want to ask me, what have I done to make you feel that way? Needless to say, she was clearly in her feelings. And I brought it to her attention. I was just like, how can you be so mad at me for saying something that your husband has said? how many years have you guys been married? You know, it's like your husband says the same thing about you guys. So how are you going to get mad at me for saying the same thing what he says? And it was not just me. It was anybody that was in a relationship with any one of them. We all felt the same way, you know, because we all would lean up, you know, on each other, especially, you know, some of his late brothers, their girlfriends that they were in a relationship with. You know, we kind of bonded a little over the abuse. But even then, I myself was not fully aware as to the type of abuse I was experiencing. So I couldn't put like a name on it. I just knew the way that we were being treated wasn't right. And that's not what family does, you know? And so how is it that everybody on the outside comes to the same conclusion? Make that make sense, you know? So it's not just me. It's other people too who are experiencing this, but you guys don't want to hear it because, again, that destroys their public image as this great family and this image that they're trying to maintain. They can't come to terms with that. And, you know, whatever, that to each his own, right? To each his own. And so why, or let's see, how do they enable? How do they enable a narcissist? They ignore the truth. They deny the reality of the situation and everything that's going on. When they are made aware of the abuse, they do not protect that victim. They are void of boundaries. They shift the blame. So instead of, you know, that this person is wrong, they shift it onto the victim. And now it's the victim's fault because there's no way that it's our family member's fault. Like, no way. And that part right there is mind-blowing to me because for me, you know, right is right, wrong is wrong, black is black, white is white, gray is gray, purple is purple, green is green. You know what I'm saying? There's so many times where, you know, I would share with them because I'm crying out for help. You know, it's like, help me with your brother. This is your brother. If anybody's maybe gonna like get some sense into his mind and make him aware as to the abuse that he's inflicting on me, I would think that it would be his family, the people closest to him. Boy, was I wrong. Completely wrong. You guys are enabling this behavior. I'm knowing that he's wrong. And it's like, why are they not seeing this? Like, how do you guys not? It just doesn't make sense. And so it's the question now of why do they enable? You know, and I got my note right here. Why do they enable? For one, there's a lack of confidence and a lack of courage. Besides the low self-esteem that encourages their enablement of the narcissistic person in the family, but they also have codependent traits. And so also within the structure of a narcissistic family, the narcissist dominates over the family. He dominates over the family roles that each person plays. They also control and influence each family member. Big one right there. And now the narc enabler reinforces their power. And now, again, I will say, his mom is the big enabler. They assist with the gaslighting, the manipulation, tends to the needs of the narcissist to keep them happy. Now, in a healthy family dynamic, that's a great thing. But when you're dealing with a toxic, dysfunctional, unhealthy family, that is not good at all, because you're enabling and encouraging this bad behavior. What are some ways to deal with a family full of narcissistic people who enable your narcissistic abuser? The only way that I've come to deal, or how I deal, is I had to go no contact with them as well. Because the situation that made me even realize, besides the family vacations and everything, the situation that really made me realize that you guys don't care about me. You guys don't have my back. You're not here to protect me. There was one point in time where we were living with his mother, right? And now his younger brother lives there, and he was living there with his girlfriend at the time, and they had their child. And then we lived there with our 2 kids. And my daughter at the time, she wasn't even in preschool yet. So I know she was probably, and this was after my mom died, so she was 2. I had found out something disturbing that I just didn't like. And it has to do with, just hygiene. I found out his brother wasn't washing his hands after he used the bathroom. Like, I'm going to just keep it real. I'm going to keep it 100. Like, facts. Found out his brother wasn't washing his hands after he used the bathroom. I had a problem with that. I said to him, your brother's not washing his hands after he uses the bathroom. I don't want to say anything. Can you talk to him? But now, being in that, that family structure of narcissistic people, he's not going to do that. Why would he do that? You're destroying their family image. You're destroying... No. You are not going to bring that to the forefront. So he doesn't say anything. That bothers me, because it's like, okay, you're not protecting me. You're not protecting your kids. All because you, don't want to make him feel bad? Well, he shouldn't feel bad. He's a grown man. This is like simple. 1 + 1 is 2. Go to the bathroom, wash your hands. Simple, like, come on now. And so I took it upon myself. I said, okay, so what I'll do in a very passive aggressive way, I'm just going to print out some signs and hang them in the bathroom. We taking it to elementary. We're going to post signs in the bathroom with hands, with little germs and bugs on them, to teach you and to explain to you why you should be washing your hands after the bathroom. Okay? Like I said, simple. 1 + 1 is 2. You go to the bathroom, wash your hands, soap and water. Let's clean it. So he comes home, sees what I'm doing, and he's like, oh my gosh, y'all, when I flew into a rage, started flying off the handle. And I'm just like, what? Why are you going crazy right now? I'm like, why are you tripping? Like, go talk to him. Go tell him. I'm not going to tell my brother that. Why? Why not? And now here we go. In my mind, I'm thinking right is right, wrong is wrong. Why would it? If that was my brother, I would be like, dude, that's nasty. What is, like simple. Simple. But we know nothing with a narcissistic person is ever simple. So we get into this big argument. My son was at school, so it's just my daughter. And then his younger brother wasn't even there, but his girlfriend was there with their daughter. And we get into this argument going back and forth. And I said something, typical. I ain't going to say typical, but, I did say something. And I'm going to tell y'all what I said. Because I'm just going to keep it real. I said he had a little wee-wee. And he was like, what the fuck did you just say? Say that again. And so I got close to him. And I said, you got a little dick. Because we were just arguing and fighting, and he was being so nasty. And it's like, okay, well, let me be nasty back. You got a little dick. Now what? And after I said it that second time, y'all, he punched me right here. And now we're fighting. And we're fighting. So the fight breaks like a little tussle, you know, pushing me here, whatever. So I run to the kitchen, grab the phone, and grabbed a knife. Put it in my back pocket. He comes, puts me in a bear hug, snatches the phone away from me. It was a pot right there. I grabbed the pot, and when I say I hit the shit out of his ass, my nigga stumbled. And it was a very empowering moment because it's like, yes. You know, it's like I'm defending myself. And so the kids were in the living room. And I forget where his younger brother's girlfriend was, but she grabs the kids, takes them in the room. I follow immediately behind her. We go into the room. This was her room at the time. I don't remember whose room it was, but we go into the room. We lock the door, and you could just hear him in a rage, just walking back and forth, yelling at the top of his lungs, like just going crazy. So it got quiet. We thought he had left. And so I go up to the door and I put my ear against the door to try to see if I can hear, you know, any movement inside the house. Next thing you know, he, boom, kicks the door open. I fly back. Kids are screaming. It's like madness. He grabs me. I'm like on the floor. And I just remember I had the knife in my back pocket. And I was like, get it. So he grabs me. I'm on the floor. I have the knife in my hand. And somehow we end up in our kid's room. And he has me like by the collar of my shirt like this. And he's just like throwing me around like a rag doll. Next thing you know, with one throw, it just like kind of went black. I started seeing like little flashes of light. He throws me onto the floor. And at this time, I want to say he was maybe like 300 pounds. And when I was with him, I was always very small. Stress, abuse. So I was probably like at the most 105. Throws me on the floor. Jumps onto my chest. And is sitting on me. I can't breathe. All he's saying is, let go of the knife. Let go of the knife. I'm yelling at him. You are beating my ass. I'm not letting go. Get the fuck off of me. You know, just get the fuck off of me. No, I'm not letting shit go. And he finally gets up. I get up. And I look at the rug where I was just laying. Puddle of blood. I lost it because I knew that something had happened to my head. And I just stabbed him right in his fucking leg. He falls to the floor. He begins screaming and crying for help, begging for his little brother's girlfriend to come and save him from me. I'm going crazy. I'm hurting him. I just stabbed him. I will never forget that moment, y'all. I'll never forget that moment. Because how dare you? You know, like, you need help right now. Really. You need help right now. And I will never forget, y'all. She came in the room. It was so funny. She comes in the room and she's like, I'm not gonna fucking help you. She was like, the fuck? And she came up and she was like, oh my God, are you okay? And this, that, you're bleeding. He hobbles out the house, and her and I go into the bathroom, and she looks at my head, and she was like, oh my God, your head is split open. And I knew that it happened when he threw me up against that wall and everything went black and twinkling. That's when my shit got split open. I knew it. And she's like, you need to go to the hospital. You need to go right now. And I'm like, no, I'll be fine. I'm not going to no hospital. Like, I don't want to. For a fear, because it's, if I ever stand up for myself, if I ever tried to protect myself, it was always just worse, And so that's why a lot of women, when you are abused, you don't speak up, because when you do speak up, it gets so much worse. And I'm like, no, it'll be okay. Like, it'll stop. I'm thinking like, oh, it'll stop. She took a picture and I'm just like, I hope it stops. And I didn't want to clean up the blood. He broke a picture off his mom's picture wall that's in the hallway. She was out of town at that time. And feeling like they're my family. And see, his sister's husband, he would always say, oh, I'm your brother. You ever need me, I'm here for you, whatever you need. Because he knew kind of how my family, did me. You know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't care about me when my mom died. I had no one, And so he would always say, oh, I got your back. I love you. You my little sis. Me thinking he's going to have my back. Somebody's going to stand up for me in this moment because this was wrong. I called him. He comes over. I showed him what happened. Told him why it happened. All he said, y'all, was, oh, dang. Shook his head and then left. I was like, what? I know he went home and told his wife. That's what husband and wives do. You guys talk. You share everything. Of course, it's normal. I know he told his wife. Nobody ever said anything. I know his little brother knew. He didn't say anything. I know everyone in his family knew. His mom comes home from out of town. She asks, what happened to my picture? I told her. She would always be like, oh, and walk away. So I go to sleep that night. Still didn't go to the hospital. In pain. The next day I just couldn't take it anymore. Had to get staples in my head. I think I had to get like 5 staples in my head. They, of course, asked, what happened? Just like having that battered woman syndrome. Oh, I slipped and fell outside at the pool and hit my head. They knew I was lying. They knew. But what can you say? I go back home in pain, the worst headache. Oh, and even when I'm at the hospital, the doctor lets me know I could have died. I was slowly bleeding out. He said if I wouldn't have come, I had probably like another 24, 48 hours because I was slowly bleeding out. Wow. I was shocked. I was appalled. I was hurt. I was alone. I didn't have anyone. Knew nobody was gonna care because nobody's caring. Nobody's showing me that they care. I knew in that moment that solidified those feelings of not feeling like I was family. That solidified it. Him finding out through his family that he had split my head open. He comes that next day. It was nighttime. He comes home. Hadn't been there since the fight. Because he himself had to get stitches in his legs where I stabbed his ass. Which I'm proud of. I'm proud I stood up for myself. It was not healthy. I know. But I stood up for myself and I got his ass back. So he comes and he's like, yeah, you know, my older brother told me that I could have killed you. And that makes me, I split your head open. You had to get staples. And, you know, I shouldn't be doing that to you because I could have killed you and I could have, you know, caught a murder charge. So do you feel bad because of what you did, or you just feel bad for yourself because you could have caught a charge? You feel bad for yourself because you could have caught a charge. And now that would destroy your whole image and everybody would know you were an abuser. And see, his family enabled him. His family said absolutely nothing. His family did absolutely nothing. His mom said absolutely nothing. That solidified it for me. And even his sister's husband. You're not my brother. You're not my brother. Because had my real brother known that, it'd be a problem. A whole big ass problem. But see, he isolated me from my family, from the little family that I did have, because my brother's girlfriend, my sister, wife, my sister, she knows. She's the one that put me on to what narcissism is and everything. And he knew that her being in my life gave me strength. Didn't want that around me. Can't have no strong woman around me. No, I need you to be weak. I need you to be docile. And I used to even say that to him all the time. Like, you need you a deaf, blind, mute girl. One who's not going to talk back. One who can't hear you and one who can't see you. Like, that's what you need. And I stand on that. And so I knew then that I was really alone in that moment. And so the way I began to protect myself while I was still with him was I limited my interaction. So yeah, we are putting healthy boundaries in place. And like I tell my children, just because, you know, someone has a title or a group of people have this title as being your family, if they're not respecting you, if they aren't loving you how you need, how you want, they're not supporting you, encouraging you, and there for you, is that really family? Is that really even a friend? Is that someone you want in your corner? Are they even in your corner? You know, like if you ever have to question someone's love for you, that's a red flag. You put a boundary in place to protect yourself and to show that person that you're not going to treat me this way. And they can either choose to respect that, or they may lash out of anger. And how dare you? And if so, that's when you know right then and there in that moment, you're definitely not worthy of my space, my energy, my conversation, my presence, any of that, because you can't even respect the healthy boundary I'm putting in place for myself. And so that is really how you can cope and deal with the narcissistic family. Put your boundaries in place. Stick to them. When you're dealing with them, you definitely have to be compassionate for yourself. Exercise self-care, exercise self-love. Otherwise, it will really tear you down and you will be lost in it. And that is not where you want to end up. It is not a happy place. It really is not a happy place. I hope everyone can find their strength. Everyone can find courage. Because it takes courage to stand up and fight for yourself and to protect yourself. Don't ever allow anyone to silence your voice, because, oh, my pillow. It takes a lot for someone to muster up the courage and the strength to say anything when being abused. So once you find your voice, don't ever let it go. Hold on to it. I'm telling you, hold on to that. And you go with that. You lead with that. You fight with that. Do you know what I'm saying? So, I wrote a poem, of course, per usual. And it really just touches on when you are abused and you are silent, and the reasons why you are silent, the reasons why you don't say anything, the reason why you are afraid to share, because you've shared before and no one heard, no one listened, no one cared. And so you discovered that sometimes it's better to just keep it to yourself. And that's sad, because how you feel, what you think matters. You have to know that you matter, though. And when you're being abused, you don't feel that you matter. You don't feel that your voice, feelings, or thoughts matter. And so this poem definitely touches on that. Let's dive in. Hold on, I'm gonna stop and start. I keep it all in my head, the safest place to keep my feelings and thoughts. No invasion, no tearing me apart to make me feel indifferent or wrong. Safe, secure, myself. So as an abuse survivor, you do feel the safest place to hold it all is inside. It's not. Let it out. Let it out. Let your voice be heard. Let your feelings be heard. Let your thoughts be heard. Because they matter. They do. They matter 100%. Don't allow anyone to make you feel as though you don't matter. You do matter. I promise you that. So I want to leave you guys always with some self-love, some affirmations, just to kind of reaffirm that positivity and that self-confidence within yourself. So let's get to it. You guys know I love to put my hand on my heart. We're going to put our hands on our chest if you want, or do what you like. And we're just going to reaffirm. We're going to ground ourselves and knowing that we're beautiful. I know I'm amazing. I know I'm beautiful. I know I matter. I know my feelings matter. I know my thoughts matter. I know my presence matters. I speak with love. I speak with kindness and compassion because I know I am love. I know that I am compassion. I know that I am worthy of all great things this world has to offer. I know I am deserving of a life filled with positivity, love, and abundance of prosperity. I know I'm amazing. I know I matter. Because I do. And so do you. I love you guys. I leave you all to enter into a good, healthy, positive week. I hope you all can find some peace, can find some love within yourself that radiates outside of you. Enjoy your Sunday. Step into a good week with some positivity and some self-love and some self-care. Please remember to like, share, comment, hit the little bell thing so that you receive a notification every time I post something so you can get some divine healing. Love you all.